It is a loaded, jam-packed Tuesday live in Los Angeles. This is The Herd. Wherever you may be and however you may be listening, we're on Fox Sports Radio. And right here on FS1, 1 hour from now, The Herd hierarchy, rich, packed with flavor. 10 playoff teams. What do I do with Brady and the Bucs? They looked awful against Chicago. What do I do with Seattle? Worst defense of all time, statistically. Joy Taylor is joining me. It appears, Joy, we talk about this all the time. All the quarterbacks are getting better. We appear to have another new star at quarterback.
Didn't see it coming, but he has arrived.
He is really good, folks. I don't want to hear about Michael Thomas wasn't there for Drew Brees. Stop. Okay. Justin Herbert's a rookie. Okay, he didn't have his starting right tackle, his starting right guard, his starting running back, and his best receiver, Keenan Allen, got hurt end of the first quarter. And he went on the road against Drew Brees and was a better quarterback, and it wasn't close. Passer rating, the kid, without two of his offensive linemen, and the Saints have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL, 123 passer rating. 4 touchdowns, no picks. You can do so much more with Justin Herbert than you can do with Drew Brees. They moved the pocket out. He's got a rocket arm. You can throw it deep, short. It doesn't matter. The question now is, will the Chargers screw it up? That's the question now. Because where you land matters in the NFL. Sam Darnold, punctured by his team. Josh Allen, you'll watch tonight, elevated by his. Look how long it's taken Baker Mayfield to finally get a grown-up as a head coach. Oh, Baker looks pretty good. Where you land matters. And the Chargers have a good GM and a lot of talent. But what a shock. Last night, the coaching wasn't good, and the special teams lost the game. This kid has led in the last 3-4 weeks. He's led Mahomes, he's led Brees, he's led Brady in the fourth quarter. And they can't make a kick, or they go conservative with play calling. This kid's a rock star. But this organization historically has gone cheap. Is Anthony Lynn the coach? Well, let's look at his own division. In order to win this division, Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes. Can Anthony Lynn outduel them? Forget Belichick in the AFC. Forget John Harbaugh in the AFC. Forget Mike Tomlin. Forget Sean McDermott. Forget Mike Vrabel. Is he as good, as daring as John Gruden? Is he schematically clever like Andy Reid? All I know is this. Justin Herbert is wow. The only 2 quarterbacks in the league that have this talent, this size, this arm, this escapability, the 2 of them are Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. And Patrick Mahomes got a year to sit behind Alex Smith. Josh Allen was awful his first year and a half in the league. This kid is great now. Will the Chargers screw it up? Is Anthony Lynn right? Is Anthony Lynn good enough? He wasn't last night. And if they decide he's not, will Dean Spanos, the owner, go out and pay $10 million for Lincoln Riley or $10 million for Urban Meyer, not some retread coach like the Cowboys did? Will you go out and spend big boy money to get a John Harbaugh, to go get a rock star head coach? Because we know in this league, if you give Lamar Jackson John Harbaugh, we know how it turns out. Really good. And if you give Josh Allen a Sean McDermott, excellent young coach, we know how it turns out. You'll watch tonight. Really good. We know that if Mike Vrabel gets his hands on Ryan Tannehill, what happens? Average quarterback, then better than average. Because I'm watching Justin. I have questions about this staff. They watched all these practices. They watched all this game tape. And it wasn't until last week the Chargers went, yeah, we think Justin Herbert's better. What are you watching? I mean, there are things in life that are subtle and nuanced. Justin Herbert has a massive arm, is huge. This kid, everybody nitpicked him at Oregon. So I watch a lot of Oregon football games because I used to work in Portland. So they have an offensive line coach as a head coach. Very conservative, and they don't have great weapons like Clemson, Ohio State, Alabama, LSU. It's Oregon. They don't have 5-star wide receivers, right? And so Justin Herbert, it was a very conservative offense. And at the end of the year, Joey was here, they decided at the end of the year in the Rose Bowl, we got no games left for Justin Herbert. Go for it. And did you watch him against Wisconsin? Wisconsin had a great defense. They couldn't stop Justin Herbert. It doesn't take much. This kid was a Dean's List student in college, and he majored in biology. It wasn't like a lot of athletes who, you find the major that kind of works for your ability to not, go to practice and stuff. He majored in biology. He was a Dean's Lister. We've had people of this network who have covered Oregon, interviewed him. They're like, oh, kid blows you away, the wisdom for like a 21-year-old kid. But I wonder about this. Can the Chargers elevate him? Because last night, I mean, when they doinked that field goal, you were all watching that game saying the same thing. Oh, gosh, the Chargers. When they went conservative with their play calling, you were all saying the same thing. Oh, it's the Chargers. So the pressure is not on Justin Herbert. He's played 4 games. First game, again, 5-minute heads up, you're playing against Patrick Mahomes. I don't know, a little intimidating? Can you imagine 5 minutes, you're fighting Mike Tyson? 5 minutes, you have to face Messi. 5 minutes, Patrick Mahomes. A little nervous. He outplayed him for the first half of that game. He outplayed Tom Brady first half of that game. He outplayed Drew Brees last night. Are the Chargers good at the pressure's not on Herbert? It's on the organization. Because the organization has a history of being cheap, screwing up special teams, and they got players. Don't kid yourself. It's not woe is me. Justin Herbert's got real receivers. I mean, this is a real football team with real players. But 4 games. The first one, a touchdown, a pick. Second one, a touchdown, a pick. Third one, 3 touchdowns, a pick. Last night, 4 touchdowns, no picks. Cameron Hayward of the Saints, great player on a great defensive line, said, uh-oh, watch out, this kid's special.
He's a baller. Young kid out there taking a lot of hits today. I think our D-line, I think our front 7 got after him pretty well. You know, he made a lot of great plays down the stretch, and that's something, you know, that he may be a force to be reckoned with for the years to come. He's showing some huge potential.
Cameron Jordan, my bad. All right, let's shift to this. Yesterday I said something to Joy during the show. And I wasn't trying to be a hot take, but I watched Matt Ryan this weekend, and I'm watching the NFL in 2020. And I'm like, Atlanta fired everybody. They fired their GM, they fired the coach, and I'm like, I think I'd move off Matt Ryan in 1 year. Cap space, you gotta keep him this year and next year. But if I could draft the Trevor Lawrence, if Atlanta keeps losing, if I could draft the Justin Fields, I'd draft him. Very interesting. The owner of the Atlanta Falcons, Arthur Blank, said, we're not quite sure what we're going to do at the quarterback situation with Matt Ryan.
Matt has the ability to play at a very high level, even at this age. Whether that's going to continue or not, I'm not sure. I appreciate his willingness to consider doing that, and the level of what he's played for us for 13 years, which has been incredible. So I will have to see. But then again, that's going to be a decision at the end of the day. That'll be part of it be up to the player, and part of it would be up to the coaching staff, and whether or not, you know, Matt can keep himself together. And I hope he's going to be part of our plans going forward, but that'll be a decision that I won't make.
Not exactly a vote of confidence. Matt Ryan's not bad. We all know that. Matt Ryan's not special and dynamic. We all know that. He's Kirk Cousins with an MVP. Would you move off Kirk Cousins? Kirk Cousins gets talked about a lot because Kirk Cousins wins and got that initial big contract. But Kirk Cousins is actually more mobile than Matt Ryan. You can roll the pocket out with him. Kirk Cousins actually throws a better deep ball than Matt Ryan. What do you do with Matt Ryan? I watched Matt Ryan this past weekend. When everything's set up for success, it can be nice. It's sort of like, like marriages. Everybody gets along on the honeymoon. The kids are at camp for the summer, no in-laws around, and the money's rolling in. But how's the marriage when the money's tight? In-laws are in town. Kids are melting down. That's a real marriage. That's what all of us go through. Matt Ryan is great when everything's set up for him. But it's 2020. Nothing's set up for anybody. Justin Herbert, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Those guys make plays when the world isn't perfect. Matt Ryan plays in a dome. There is no wind. He plays in a warm weather division. If he played in Pittsburgh, you'd see even more issues. He is largely protected. Julio Jones plays in a dome. But this is the real question. Your marriage, it's tested when the kids melt down, not when they're away at camp. And in 2020, what's your quarterback like when you're missing a left tackle, your top running back is out, your number 2 receiver is out, and your back is killing you because he got sacked 5 times the previous week? And that's, for Matt Ryan, territory he can't elevate. I'm watching the NFL right now, and there's about 7 teams that I would say would not draft Trevor Lawrence. About 7. Everybody else, that kid at Clemson, I'd take him, sit him for a year in Atlanta, and move on. If you want to be special, you got to have a special quarterback. Matt Ryan is special when everything is set up to succeed. As you watch the NFL going forward, when is everything perfectly set up to succeed? The answer, almost never. Coming up, stop making excuses. I know he's iconic and I know he's beloved, but we got to stop making excuses for an NFL player. That's coming up. When you want a 12-ounce ribeye, you don't have to buy the entire cow. When you want an airline seat, you don't have to buy the entire row. That's where Pure Talk USA comes in. Why are you paying for unlimited data for these phone companies when you only use 2 gigs? That's how the big carriers like AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile hook you. They charge you obscene monthly fees you'll never need, and they charge you for perks you'll never use. Switch to Pure Talk USA. Charges you only for the data that you need. Right now, unlimited talk, unlimited. Unlimited text, unlimited. 2 gigs of data. $20 a month, that's it. Average person would save $400 a year. Grab your phone right now. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, 2 gigs of data. $20 a month, that's it. Grab your phone right now. Dial pound 250 and say my name. Dial pound 250 and say Colin Cowherd. That will also get you 50% off the first month. Nothing but savings. Pure Talk USA.